When I finished the beginner's guide, I said it was going to take some time to unpack how I felt about it. I said this because I was surprised at the strength of my reaction, and I was surprised at what that reaction was. I was angry. What's interesting to me, though, is that I was not angry at the game. I didn't feel like the game had failed me or taken a turn I didn't like or betrayed some core part of its being. I was angry at Davey, the narrator. I got up from the couch after I turned off the recording, I took my headphones off, and I went and got on the treadmill to burn some of the frustration off. Over the next few hours, I tried to figure out exactly why I was angry with Davey. I was angry because he'd taken the story from me. When I thought of the parts of the beginner's guide that worked for me, that hit me in the emotional solar plexus, that made me turn my head away from the microphone so I could shout an expletive as loud as I felt it needed to be shouted, I thought of how that wasn't true. It was just bullshit. Bullshit that Davey put in to make the story about himself. That wasn't what Coda intended. I felt like my emotional reaction to what I'd seen was incorrect. I felt like I'd been made a fool of. I was hurt, I was embarrassed, and I was angry. I should have seen it coming, I told myself. The bit with the cabin in the woods, how Davey sold it as peaceful and relaxing, I thought at the time that it was kind of a prison, just a prison of the everyday. I thought that there I should have caught on that something wasn't correct, that this wasn't correct, that I was just responding to someone else's responses. I spend less time in communities anymore because I don't like being told how to feel. When a discussion is just constant dunking on something or heralding something as the second coming, I feel like I cannot have my own opinion. That's an actual physical cannot have my own opinion feeling too. I find myself repeating the last thing that I heard, like one of those Undertale echo flowers, just with bad hair and too many wires strewn across their living room. I felt like I'd been told how to react to something and that the feelings I had weren't honest. They weren't fully my own. I was really mad at him. And then, about a week ago, something else hit me about my reaction and my subsequent thoughts. I was being selfish. In the aftermath, I was only thinking of myself. My anger was that Davey had failed me, and I'd forgotten about Coda. I was upset about feelings. Coda was upset about everything. I'd been short-sighted and selfish. I'd only been thinking about things as they related to me. There's a part in the beginner's guide that hit me in that aforementioned metaphorical gut. I don't remember what it was anymore, but I remember what it did to me because it made me think of what sent me to therapy the first time years ago. I didn't realize I was depressed until I was sitting at my computer watching YouTube videos late at night while my wife was already asleep. I was watching the Red Hands video by the group Walk Off the Earth, and I thought, look how happy they all are. Look at how much fun they're all having, being friends together. What's wrong with me that I'm not? Let's set aside what that meant as far as me realizing I was depressed. Here I was, watching a video by a musical group, and I was ascribing a lot of things to them, all things that I felt I did not have in that moment. I didn't have a lot to base this on. I was watching a music video, and I still decided that all these people were happy and fulfilled and had everything that they wanted. These things, videos, books, blog posts, Twitter entries, Facebook stories, public appearances, Let's Plays, these can be windows into one's soul, but they can also be incredible lies. I'm fairly animated when I do these LPs, and I aim to keep it pretty natural. But it's a performance, and there's no getting around that. I am aware of the things that I say and how I say them. I know what I do well, and I attempt to keep doing those things well. There are times when I let my guard down, but there is still a guard that is up the rest of that time. The mat that exists in these things is a curated mat, a mat selected from perhaps not the finest examples, but the most appropriate examples, and placed before you. You could likely draw some very correct conclusions about the type of person that I am from these videos. You could also draw some very incorrect ones about the same. And so when I think about the act of creation from that angle, from having to be someone that your fans expect, or worse, what a particular single viewer or person or friend wants and demands, it profoundly unsettles me. What happens when fans expect a particular thing out of your work, and when they don't get it? When they read it wrong and have built up their own expectations that not only could you not meet, you never intended to in the first place. And they make this into your fault, your failing? What happens when you fail to be what people have decided you are inside their own heads? So I got mad at Davey all over again and realized that this entire thing is brilliant and difficult and absolutely incredible. Ace. Thank you for watching, everyone.